I made 386K just from medium content books. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it and how you can create these books too in order to be able to take advantage of what I think are the types of books a lot of people aren't publishing in, mainly because they can be complicated at times. So I'm going to go through how to do that. Now, in terms of my journey, guys, in the beginning here, you can see started end of 2016. First book failed, got a full-time job, came back to publishing, and it worked out. Now I was shotgunning books, and so as you can see, roller coaster ride. When you take that approach, 2020, I started a brand, and as you can see from there, it's just been upwards. And this is, in terms of my brand, it's medium content books usually. And as you can see here, big Q4s. And that's the main reason I like medium content, because not only do they do pretty well during the year, they go nuts during Q4. So it's a nice bonus. Now, how can you make medium content books yourself? First thing I want to go through is why you should choose medium content. Now, overall, I think it's easier in my opinion in some ways. I'll go through it in the video. However, you've got easy mid content books and you've got hard mid content books. In terms of the easy ones, they're very super simple to do and simple to make, and then they also do better during Q4 and the Easter period, while also doing good during the year. Some niches can be complicated at times, so there's less competition, and therefore I see these keywords to be golden nuggets inside Amazon. Now, the other thing that I like about it is they are replicable, and I'll go through this at the end as well. Now, the process of this isn't as normal because these books are medium content. They need to be visually appealing. So you obviously need to have your writing, and that's going to be anywhere between 6,000 to 12,000 words. Usually, look at your competition though, guys. Obviously, you want to see where they're at and what they're doing in terms of that. Then you can do the second step, which is adding in creative writing. I don't do this always, but I think it's an optional thing that does work well. It's just where you add an extra 1,000 to 2,000 words. You hire a creative writer to spice up your book. I'll go through it in a sec. And then you've got the illustrations or images part of your book, which obviously is the main thing. It's the most important thing. And most cases I use black line art for that, and don't need color. Main reason being I stay away from color as much as possible due to printing costs. Then after that, guys, you need to get the book graphic designed and obviously looking clean and visually appealing, and all just basically putting it together for that part. And then you got your formatting. So that's how the process runs. I'm going to go through each step. Now, in terms of important things to note, medium content has to be appealing to the eye. Your book cover being good is even more important than any other books, in my opinion. Your illustrations, your images, and your graphic design of the book have to be aesthetic and look great. It's the main part of this. If you want a quality book and you want to stand out, it needs to be like a very supreme book. Now, some people think medium content is a cheaper option, and this is the case generally speaking. However, if you are choosing a complicated keyword, a lot of the time this actually isn't the case. Obviously, with some of these niches that I'm going to go through, you'll see that and you'll understand why. These books also must be optimized to win during Q4. Half of my royalties, guys, almost half of them come from Q4 throughout the whole year. So puts it into perspective for you of how important it is. There's just so many customers on the platform, especially during December. You're an idiot if you don't optimize your books and really go hard during that period. I will go through that in the video. Now, in terms of the writing, 6 to 12,000 words, as I said, you want to be looking at your competition and doing the rough maths. Now, for example, let's just say you have a cookbook, right? Let's just say you're looking at the competition and it's taking him about 200 words or so to create a recipe, one recipe, but you want 10. you're going to have to do 200 words times 10, and there you go. You need 2,000 words. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. You're going to do more than 10 recipes, but you get my point. That's how you do the maths on the word count. You look at your comp, or you just use common sense. Anywhere between this range, as I said, is good. And then, as I said, there's going to be two zones you're going to be publishing in. You've got your easy books, and these can be done by general ghostwriters, yourself, or AI. And these are like really simple books, like facts, jokes, would you rather, these types of things. You can kind of whip them up real quick. But then you have your other side, and these are the hard books. These are the ones that everyone stays away from. They're too scared to publish in because they understand that they are quite hard to make, and they're probably just gonna flop. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can go for those and basically win. In terms of these, you're looking at hiring professionals on Upwork, like specific professionals in that topic to create these books. These guys are probably not even writers or something, it's okay. You want to hire these people, you pay them enough and they'll do the job good because they know the skill. That's the most important thing. Now, I'm talking about books like playing the guitar, or exercise books, or programming, coding, or DIY like woodworking. These types of things, guys, you probably don't know anything about it, and so you need someone to come in and take it over, a professional. You can find that on Upwork. Now, in terms of creative writing touches, your choice, but adding this in can spice it up. If you think your book is lacking something, or it just doesn't suit the audience with the style and the tone, you can have someone clean that up and create a creative touch. Up to you. And I just find them on Upwork through just searching a creative writer. Now, illustrations and images, this is the most important of it all. Now, with illustrations specifically, I use black liner. I think it just looks well. It enables me to not need to select color, which keeps printing costs lower and therefore profit margins higher. Now, in terms of a facts book with 100 facts, for example, to keep the budget down, what you can do and how you can set it up is just do, one illustration per 10 facts. So just pick the 10 best facts to illustrate and organize it in that way. Basically, guys, you just want to use your common sense when it comes to illustrations. Spread it out evenly and put illustrations where they're needed. Obviously, you could do an illustration for every fact, but that's 100 illustrations. It's too much. So, just be smart with it. Make sure it's visually appealing. Spice it up here and there. Throw some illustrations here and there, depending on the book, and organize it that way. Now, if you have to do images, for example, a cookbook or, a photography book, these things like that, like if you can't steer away from images because you're going to get negative reviews, then it has to be in color. And it is what it is. Your competition is dealing with the same problem, so just increase your price, because you're just going to get killed with negative reviews if you put that book in black and white. Now, to find these, you can use AI or Shutterstock. Just make sure you have the rights to these images. Now, the next thing, guys, is graphic design. A lot of people kind of sleep on this. I would even be doing this for long form content books, to be honest with you. And basically what you want to do here and the process of what it is, guys, is, you're going to have words, you're going to have like your word content, you're going to have your images or your illustrations, and it's all going to be a bit messy. You need someone to come in and put it all together and make it look really nice, do really nice borders, really nice theme on the book, etc. So the way you're going to be able to do that is organize it in a way on Google Drive that's very easy to understand for the designer. For example, chapter 1, these are the images included in this order, and just note down how you want it laid out, etc. Now, sometimes what I do is I literally draw up a physical draft in my book, in my notebook, take a picture of it and say, yeah, this is kind of like what I want. I want the image top left, I want the words on the right, something like that, just to give them, just hold their hand a little bit in the beginning. Another thing you can do that I do is get them to send you a 5-page sample in the beginning. Once you're happy with it, you give them the all clear with the rest. Now, in terms of where you're going to find these people and how much, you can find them off Upwork. It's around $30 to $40. I would test multiple different people in the beginning and then pick the best one. Keep in mind, this can be higher depending on the complication of your book. Proofreading. is obviously something that you want to do just to make sure, guys, if you're outsourcing a lot of this thing, you do not want to get negative reviews for stupid shit like spelling and whatnot. So for your easy books, you just do it yourself, AI or just a general editor on Upwork, not too hard. And then with the hard books, what I would do in this case is because it's not just the content that you want proofread, you actually want the tutorial, like the how-to of the book to be double checked. Now, I'll go through this in a sec, but basically you want to hire another professional in the field who is a different person to check the draft. You should have words and images and illustrations all set up somewhat in some sort of draft, and then have a second person look at it, make sure it's all correct and good. And then if this person gives you all, the clear, you're good to go. For example, you've got a guitar book that you're making, you got some professional to make it, you don't know guitar, so how do you know that that guy's 100% correct with everything that he's saying in this book? Well, the truth is you probably don't. So what you want to do is hire that second professional just to double check. Then that way, if there's any mess ups, you can come back to the original guy, get him to fix it. Now, if you're using color, some books just have to be in color, as I said, e.g. photography, fashion, whatever. Now, to keep printing costs low as possible, you want to keep your page count between the range of around 72 to 80. 72 the better, and the higher you go, the more you have to pay for printing. So around the 72, 74 page mark is a really good sweet spot. This keeps the price as low as possible while also being able to select standard color. Now, just tell your graphic designer, hey, this is the page range I want, and make it that. So obviously she can mess with the fonts and the sizing and whatnot, because sometimes some of these books might only be like 45 pages or 50 pages, but if you need color, well, then she's going to have to up the font, make it bigger, and whatnot. Now, another bonus to medium content, a lot of the niches have multiple opportunities. You will see this as a common theme throughout. Once you do the first project and organize that, it becomes a very easy path for you to create the second, third, fourth book. For example, using the guitar example, you've got bass, electric, you've got all these other different things like ukulele, whatever it is. And, if you've done the hard work in the first book and you found those people and, you have a really solid book, then really all you need to do is get the second keyword, send them what it is, get that organized as normal, but then just send them your finished first book and say, hey, this is what I want you to follow. The theme, the content, the illustration, the graphic design for each person. You just tell them, yep, this is the guide that you follow. This is how I want it. And then after that, it just makes your job super simple. Medium content books are very hard in the beginning, but they become easier once you find your team and have your themes set up, your series set up. Now, just tell them to replicate the same style, and you go from there, from that. Now, to wrap up the video, guys, making the book appealing is the number one priority. Visual aspect is super important. The next thing I'll say is don't sleep on translations. I have a video on that in terms of how you can do that and how to check, whether these books are profitable in other markets. And then the last thing, the most important thing, don't forget to go all in on Q4. Very important that you maximize your opportunity during this period, because there's just so many customers on the platform. As I said before, Q4 is making up like half my income. So, it's really not something that you want to take lightly. I would invest pretty hard on ads during October, November. I do have a video on Q4 as well if you want to check that out. But yeah, that's kind of how I would go about it in terms of creating these medium content books. I think there's a lot of opportunity because a lot of people steer away from them due to the complication. But then on the other side, on the other half is, some very easy books that you can kind of just do on the side and kind of publish. Now, this is everything I wanted to say. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to help. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.